Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Fantasy Fullback Dive, brought to you by the good people at the Roto Street Journal, acting as your lead blocker to fantasy glory, paving the way to fantasy excellence, making all your football-related fantasy come true. This is our Thursday night lead-up show. This is the third week in a row. I'm your host, Nat the Truth Jones. With me, as always, is the Wolf of Roto Street himself. And Wolf, I was just saying before we got on the air, I'm really interested to see. We've been doing big numbers as far as who's been tuning into these things. I'm really interested to see how we're going to do this week without the benefit of a sexy game, at least on paper. Surely some intrigue, surely some actual real football things we're interested in. Not the juiciest fantasy game. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, certainly not. I mean, the over-under is 38.5, so not what the points fests are typically made of, but you never know. It could be an ugly little slop fest. A couple big plays break out here and there, and suddenly we're off to the races. Either way, I mean, I'm a Pats fan, so I'm excited for this game no matter what. We'll see what happens here because we've had the Jets number, obviously, for the better part of the last decade. We'll see how this game goes, though. This is certainly a different Jets and different Patriots team.
I'm at a point with both of these teams. I've seen them both play twice, and I don't really know what I think of either of the teams. I thought the Patriots were going to be just awful this year, like legendarily awful.
Yeah.
Beat the Bengals, which was a surprise. Went to overtime with the Seahawks. Don't really know what to make of that result. Then as far as the Jets, they had one drive against the 49ers where they looked like an amazing team, and then they just were terrible for the rest of the game. And then last week they eke one out. I really don't know. I consider both these teams a question mark. But what are you thinking as far as the spread and the over/under? Where do you land on this?
Yeah, we'll dive into that. Quick game preview just so you all are aware of how the outline goes here. We'll then preview 4 storylines tonight that I think are very important. A couple stashes tonight. I'd love to see you guys consider getting on your bench if you don't have them. We always like to give you that as well, especially on a site like Yahoo where you can churn the bench. You stash this guy, doesn't pan out. All right, on to the next one. No need to hold a kicker unless you got like an Audrey or something like that on your team. And then ultimately, we will make the lifeblood of this show your questions. We started 15 minutes early this week in hopes of getting more and more time for your questions. We don't have to get a rapid fire at the end like we typically do. So get those questions on in, guys. We already got about 10 or so of them in. Love to see it. Keep that mailbag filling up. And then, of course, the thumbs up button as we're going helps us get out to more people. You said truth. We've gotten to close to 1,000 on both of these first ones. Sundays, we're getting to that 1,000 threshold. It's been awesome. I think we're like 10 people, not even, less than 10 away from 4K as well. We'd love to have you subscribe if you're not already part of it. But yeah, let's dive into this game, huh? You already said it's not going to be a juicy one. How do you see it playing out?
I mean, I don't know. My guess would be, I guess I would probably take the Jets. I feel a little weird giving up 6 points. So I think I'm probably going to take the Pats with the points, although I expect the Jets to win outright. I don't want to bet the under, but it kind of seems like an under game to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm actually completely aligned here. I do think the Pats lose, but they ultimately cover those 6 points. I do not think it goes over. I think this is going to be a pretty hideous slap fest tonight. We shall see how it goes. Just a handful of stats, though, to help you guys and you, Truth, on how you want to drive it. Underdogs on the season by at least 6 points are now 8-0 against the spread this season so far.
Okay.
So not that they've outright won, but they have at least covered the spread in every single game. If this goes 9-0, it'd be the most in like the last 50 years. So we shall see how it plays out. But at least you have history on your side so far this year. The Patriots have been also favored. This is the first time in 24 straight meetings they have not been the favorite against the Jets here, which is wild. But they're 6-1. Yeah, 6-1 against the spread and straight up in the last 7 meetings, 15-1 straight up. So they've won literally 15 of the last 16 games. Anybody that watched the end of last season saw that first loss after 15 straight wins for the Pats. They've also been the Patriots 11-5 against the spread against the Jets here and 8 straight road meetings against them. So ultimately, I feel pretty good about the Pats at least covering the spread. It wouldn't stun me if they end up pulling out the W. But I do think this is the game where the Jets start to get more on track. Maybe we see some of our fantasy players here coming out of the weeds here. Breece Hall certainly already announced himself, but people waiting on Garrett Wilson, some of these other names. I don't think we win it, unfortunately, but I do think the Pats cover the spread.
Okay. Well, we're on the same page. And, there's some interesting fantasy pieces, obviously. And
Sure are.
probably the biggest question that you are anticipating that we're going to be getting has to do with Hunter Henry. We've already had someone in the comments, Harris, is talking about Hunter Henry and how he's worried Sauce might shut him down and stuff like that.
Oh.
What do you think? He had a really big game against the Seahawks.
12 targets, a 50% target share, hauls in 8 of them for 109 yards. That was his career high last week, the second time he's been over 100 yards. Only in 5 years. It's been a long time, since 2019, since he has hit a total like that. Beautiful to see. He looked damn good, too. Like, just reliable, getting open over the middle of the field, looking solid after the catch as well. 88% of the routes as well on the day. That is an elite number for tight ends here, and with the tight end 2 with 18.9 PPR fantasy points at a position that really, other than maybe Trey McBride, who you have, and I know you're not thrilled with, but like last week he was solid.
He gave me 16 points last week.
Exactly. I think he's the tight end 1 moving forward. I'd say maybe Brock Bowers is right below him. What a rookie debut this guy is having so far. And after that, yeah, Kittle also had a solid game. He's usually, especially this week when Debo's out, you can rely on him. It becomes a crap fest shortly after. Laporta not showing up. Kelsey's been an absolute zero. Andrews, obviously, week 1 was a nightmare and not much better in week 2. So Hunter Henry could potentially be that beacon of light. I think the line where I draw it, though, still have those guys ahead of him. And I also do have it. You might hate this one. I do have Kyle Pitts ahead of Hunter Henry this week. He faces a Chiefs team that has given up 20-plus points to tight ends in back-to-back weeks, including Mike Gesicki. So, ultimately, I do think this Chiefs defense is struggling against the position. I'm going to give Pitts one more shot this week, but it's already been a pretty lackluster start for him. The other question, though, is like Kincaid versus Hunter Henry. What do we do there? But ultimately, I don't think this is overly fluke. Do I see 12 targets again? Probably not. 8 catches? Probably not. And a career high in yardage, I don't think is happening yet again. But Alex Van Pelt does love the tight end position. David Njoku under Van Pelt, 122 targets, 3rd most among tight ends. Finished the year 6th in yards, 3rd in touchdowns, and 5th in fantasy points. I don't think this is just a fluke, flash in the pan. Like, we can't rely on Hunter Henry. He was actually my second highest best ball drafted tight end because I saw some positive signs. Didn't see it blowing up quite like it did last week. My question is like, okay, Kyle Pitts, Dalton Kincaid, where do you draw that line? Like, what? He's my tight end 9 right now. I'll just tell you guys that out there. So start him ahead of a lot of people. Goddard, Isaiah Likely, give me Hunter Henry. What about you, though? Where do you draw this line?
This is probably going to sound like a little bit of a cop-out answer, but in my opinion, that group is pretty tight with each other. I hate Kyle Pitts, but I don't think it's ridiculous to have him in that group or even at the top of that group, given that's how shallow the position seems to be. So with me, it's pretty much if you have 2 or more of those guys on your team, it's probably going to be matchup influence for me. I could certainly see Kyle Pitts being more desirable 1 week, and then I could certainly see Henry being an appropriate choice in another week. I think that group of guys, like, I don't know what they are, maybe 7 to 12 in tight ends. They're all legitimate starting tight ends in fantasy, but there's really not much between them. They're clearly not in the elite group, and there's not a whole lot that makes me like one guy more than the other, except who they're going up against.
Yeah, exactly. And matchup wise, the comment bringing up the idea, like, could Sauce Gardner shadow Hunter Henry? They've never really done that. That's our guy here, Reginelli, right?
Yeah, he's saying, all up in the comments. He's got some good ones already.
Yeah, it might sauce up Hunter Henry. It is a risk. Could it happen? Sure. I'm trying to think of a time, though, we've seen them actually kick their sauce inside, shadow a tight end. I don't know that they've ever done that. And yeah, Hunter Henry probably is the best weapon we have in this passing game. It's why you're considering starting him tonight. That's also, though, the Jets last year were top 10 in points given up to the tight end position because they're just so damn good locking down the outside guys. And then those inside, the running backs, top 9 in points allowed to running backs this year and also last year. Tight ends last year, top 10 in points allowed as well. The middle of the field is vulnerable against this Jets team, and I do think that's where Hunter Henry is going to do his damage. So I don't expect Sauce to sauce him up. If you wanted to play him, Reginelli, let us know who your other options are because we have him pretty high. I'm about 3 spots above the ECR. I don't think it was a fluke. No, I don't think we're getting 12 targets, a 50% target share again. But I also could see, a nice 5-catch, 70-yard, and maybe he finds the end zone. Like, I think you're going to be a lot more pleased with Hunter Henry more weeks than not. There is the risk though, like the defensive line just swallows up our offensive line.
Risks, but there's risks with all of those tight ends. There's none of those tight ends you feel great about. But no. They're all semi-high risk plays. They could all get one catch for 8 yards. They could also all blow up conceivably if the right matchup or just the right game script happens.
It wouldn't shock me if by the end of the year, Hunter Henry is top 5 in targets and potentially fantasy points. I'll say targets, though. I just see him as like one of the very rare instances of a tight end being the engine, the passing game. Like I don't think that was a fluke. Look at the wide receivers the Pats have. It's abysmal. So, I like Hunter Henry there. And, yeah, exactly. I think Mo bringing up a great
point. Coming in off the top rope.
Yeah. He doesn't play in the slot. He never kicks inside. He never has. I just eyeball-wise knew that. It's good to, I'm sure we could look up the stats on fantasy points and figure out where they are instead. So, yeah, right. I say play Hunter Henry over a lot of guys. Dallas Goedert, Isaiah Likely, And Likely's kind of – that's a tricky one. The ceiling is certainly with Likely after what we saw. Certainly a better athlete, better after the catch, but nibbling the cheese with Mark Andrews all the time. Yeah, I'm going Hunter Henry over a lot of guys this week. Let us know if you got a Hunter Henry or any other questions, of course. Mailbag starting to build up. Getting over a couple hundred people here. Again, that thumbs up button is so greatly appreciated. The likes, the shares, the retweets to keep this number going. I did tweet out the link to a couple people messaged in and said it's tough to ask questions on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Come on over to the YouTube. It's a much easier question experience. We're happy wherever you want to watch us. I'm not trying to force anybody one way or the other. But if you are trying to ask questions and struggling on Twitter for whatever reason, the YouTube link should be up on my my Twitter feed. Just click that and come on over here. Hit that thumbs up button while you're over. I definitely play Hunter Henry over a lot of guys. What about Dalton Kincaid, though? That's kind of the one I'm struggling with the most. This guy that's, struggled through 2 weeks. I worry, though, like, we're giving up a little quick on him. First drive, 3 catches. They clearly wanted to get the ball to him. Takes a knee off the head, gets knocked out of the game for, a third of it. And then by the time he comes back in, they're already up 28 points. And they don't throw anymore. So I don't want to judge him quite yet. I go Kincaid over Henry myself. What about you?
Do you mean big picture or this week?
This week.
I would probably lean Henry this week, but overall I would tend to just believe in Kincaid a little bit more.
Yeah. It's a tough call. But I like Kincaid. I think against the Jags, he's going to have like his true coming out party this week.
The Jags might be bad. The Jags might be bad.
Are bad.
Trevor Lawrence might be bad.
Trevor Lawrence is one of the most overrated players. Like, we could go on a whole rant about that.
Right. Let's finish this game preview, and we'll have time for ranting, I'll bet, because there's probably not a ton more to talk about in this game, but we do have a couple more guys, and then we can rant about a few things. We haven't really gotten to just, like, yell at each other about some of the stuff that's been happening in football. Garrett Wilson, will he finally break out? He's clearly their go-to receiver. And we've already seen some connection between him and Rodgers. Like I said, you saw that first drive that the Jets just passed all over the 49ers, just made them look like a middle school team. And then you were just like, oh, it's on. And then it just never happened again. I was like, wow, Garrett Wilson is the truth. I know that's my name, but he's the truth. And then we just haven't seen a ton. Like he got targeted a ton against him. I want to say 11 targets against San Francisco. But he hasn't broken out. You're right.
It's true. And it is funny that you mentioned that first drive. My whole fantasy group chat, like, man, I regret not having more pieces of this Jets offense. Like, this team is going to be a buzzsaw. And we haven't seen it. That one first scripted drive was
one
beautiful.
Amazing drive.
It lingers in the back of your mind. Like, if the Jets could get to that level and for a full game, it would be deadly. And maybe they can, maybe they can't. I'm not sure. Because that drive was a thing of beauty. And Garrett Wilson was a huge part of that. And that's why
easy.
It was that kind of Devontae Adams-esque Garrett Wilson. Like, let me just put the ball wherever I want it. My guy's going to come get it. The upside's there. Does it happen tonight, though? Back-to-back weeks here, 10 point. What was he got right now? 19. It was 12 PPR points and 10.2. Wide receiver 29, wide receiver 33. Certainly not the guy that you were taking at the back end of round 1. That's not what you were expecting. Yeah, he's been okay. The 11 targets. Last week, though, then goes back to 6 targets. It's like, a little disappointing, no doubt about it. Now, Christian Gonzalez, he's been locked down for the Pats. He's been really, really solid, but they don't completely shadow with him. And we saw it when DK Metcalf, they put him in motion, shook him from Gonzalez. First thing, big broken play, like a 60-yard man touchdown. He ultimately had, like 10 catches, 150 yards, and a score. I think this could be the Garrett Wilson night. And if you needed any more reason to believe in him, I'm facing him. I'm facing him and Rodgers. It's a guarantee. Yeah, I don't know why this guy is starting Aaron Rodgers in the year 2024 right now.
He wants a taste. It's Thursday Night Football. He wants a taste.
He wants a taste. He has Garrett Wilson. He has him stacked up. So if you need any other reason to believe in this guy tonight, you guys are all starting him anyways. I get it. But in terms of DraftKings showdown, whatnot, I'm lined up against him, and I can guarantee he's going to have that 100-yard, 2-touchdown coming out party just because I am the one against him. So it's interesting to see. You're obviously starting him. But there have been a couple 10-team league questions I've gotten where it's I am -4 ECR on Garrett Wilson this week, given what we've seen so far. So maybe if you got a Garrett Wilson question, let me know. But I imagine 9.5 out of 10 times you're starting him.
I mean, just to get back to real football again for a second, I really don't know what to expect tonight. We thought the same thing as far as spread over under, but there's not that many results of this game that would just totally shock me. I feel like we just still don't know that much about these two teams, even haven't seen them play twice. So I'm looking forward to that. Another guy that was a big waiver pickup this week, he got picked up in my league. I'm sure he probably got picked up in the leagues that you're in. Is he what's that?
By me. Yeah.
And
I got it everywhere I could.
Really? Okay. I picked up Carson Steele. Because I have Pacheco. I had Pacheco, I should say.
Yeah, pour one out, sir.
Yeah, he was probably my second best player too. Is Braylon Allen? I want to talk to you about him later. But is Braylon Allen a mustache? I mean, it sounds like to me that you think he is.
I kind of buried the lead by interrupting you while you're asking the question. Yes, absolutely. He is a mustache right now. And again, especially in leagues where you can cut your kicker, pick up Braylon Allen, see what happens tonight. And I still don't think you should cut the guy. But last week, only 36% of the snaps. That's still more than a lot of people probably expected, playing over a third of the snaps, 30% of the rush share, 9% target share. And even on just that low amount of work, he was able to do 19.6 fantasy points, was the running back 6 last week. And anybody with eyeballs, if you saw the highlight clips, this guy looks damn good. The youngest player in the NFL is just knifing through defenses, bowling over people, looked phenomenal all preseason, and he's carried it over into the regular season. It was not just the fact that he was facing backups there. And this is the type of guy, you picked up Carson Steele. I'm interested to know, one, how much did you spend to go get him? Is it going to be him? Is it Samaje Perine? Does anybody really have value? Somebody will probably. It's the Chiefs backfield, but who knows? But if something happened to Breece Hall tonight or at any point, Braylon Allen's the type of guy that you put 100 of your $100 down on. You make sure you get every single penny to go pick him up. That's not the Chiefs backfield. At least I hope you didn't put $100 on Carson Steele. Maybe you did. I'm not sure.
I got both of them, and I got both of those guys.
Yeah, okay.
And I spent $20 total.
Oh, that's nothing. I paid $20 to get Perine. So, I think it's definitely worth targeting that backfield. But the reason I'm bringing them up, and certainly again, if you have
I get it. I mean, Breece Hall is in an absolute bell cow role. Even with a guy that's in an absolute bell cow role, this guy scored almost 20 fantasy points. I mean, the Jets sneaky. I said we don't know much about them. We don't know much about the Patriots. We don't know what to expect. One thing we know is they have 2 running backs that were in the top 5 in scoring amongst running backs last week, and that's not nothing.
That's not nothing. And I think what it really is, too, is this line looks phenomenal. That was the big point we highlighted why Breece Hall should be ahead of Bijan Robinson in those early drafts. And granted, Bijan looks really good, just hasn't scored the touchdowns quite yet, but he looks phenomenal, too. But Breece, behind that line, that line is just mauling people off the ball. So I do think Braylon Allen, again, if something ever happened to Breece, would be a 100% type of fab guy. And wouldn't shock me if he is routinely getting 30 to 40% of the snaps here. Wouldn't shock me if he's got that flex with benefits, the guy that you can toss it, that handcuff with benefits rather, that you can toss into your flex spot in a bye week pinch right now. For example, I'm not going to put him in, but man, I'm starting Samaje Perine for filling in for Christian McCaffrey, and I didn't have Jordan Mason handcuffed. And part of me is damn, do I just toss it Allen tonight, get a little Thursday night juice, and not play Perine? I'm probably going to play Perine.
You're going to play Perine over Allen?
Over Braylon Allen, yeah, I think I'm gonna.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm not convinced on it.
I don't know about that, but you got to decide in the course of this show.
I do.
What you're gonna do.
I'm gonna probably put back another treehouse, and then I'll be like, you know what? I'd love
take
to get
another one down, and then take a shot. All right, last one. And how much did you pay for Allen, by the way?
Only $5. I don't even know what the next closest bid was, but just $5 got the job done.
He went pretty cheap in my league too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of the pickups of the year eventually. If something happens to
maybe
Brees.
it's kind of like Jalen Wright. I mean, maybe, except he's done more than Jalen Wright.
No, but he's done more and he's already involved. Whereas Jalen Wright, like, I don't know. I still like stashing Wright, but I update every week. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I update it every single week. I tweet out who are the top 12 stashes in your leagues, the top 12 handcuffs, the most upside bench running backs. And Braylon Allen went from like number 8 on my list 2 weeks ago to number 1. Like, he is the number 1 bench stash, in my opinion. And I love Bucky Irving. I love Tyler Algier. Braylon Allen's number 1 for me at this point. I've seen enough. The guy is damn talented, and he is so much further ahead right now than Isaiah Davis. Izzy Akama. Like, he's just the next guy, clearly, behind Breece Hall. So I'm all about it. I'm all about it. But yeah, you were already kind of alluding to the next storyline.
Last guy, Antonio Gibson, 19% owned, 12 touches, 103 yards.
Yeah.
Not terrible.
You missed the boat on Braylon Allen. Okay, maybe stash Antonio Gibson, like you just said, 103 yards on those 12 touches. The weird thing, I don't know, weird thing, but great thing for Rhamondre Stevenson owners, 71% of the snaps to Rhamondre, 63% routes going to Rhamondre. That's the big thing. Like, you got yourself a 3-down horse. This guy's a beast. Rhamondre was one of the best picks you could have made in fantasy. Alvin Kamara, certainly the best running back value of the year. Rhamondre's not too far behind, though, in terms of like going in round 7, 8, and just being an absolute workhorse. Leads the NFL in missed tackles forced. An absolute beast. And if you have a Rhamondre question, the answer is play Rhamondre. He is an absolute stud. Yeah. That all to say, though, the Patriots right now are number 3 in expected backfield fantasy points because of how much they've leaned on the running backs, because of how good Rhamondre is. And then behind him, Gibson. Again, 103 yards on just 12 touches last week. And he saw 12 touches, and that was still only like a third of the work because they're feeding Rhamondre so much. So if something does happen to Rhamondre, Gibson looking really, really, really good on his limited amount of work so far. We've been talking about another guy that it maybe not quite on the Braylon Allen scale of like you're bidding 100 of your dollars to go get him, but you'd probably be bidding like 50, 60. Somebody in your league that needs a running back would probably bid 75 to 100 if something happened to Rhamondre tonight. Why not get ahead of it? Add this guy. If he does nothing, if nothing happens to Rhamondre, you can cut him for your kicker on Sunday. So be it. But I think we've got a little bit of a standalone role. Again, not quite to the level of Allen, but a lot of you guys, I'm in the toughest league in the world. There's no way Braylon Allen's out there. Okay, fine. What about Gibson, though? He's only 20%, under 20% rostered right now. Take a peek, see if he's out there. Maybe not as well. There's going to be somebody, though. You want to keep that. I always have at least like 1 to 2 bench spots reserved for just churning backup running backs. And then when it hits and you're ahead of the crowd, it just is like, all right, I just got a guy that's going to go for $75 in most leagues, and he's already on my bench. You can't overstate the value of that by any means.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, let's get into. Do you want to get into the mailbag? Do you want to talk about any of the other news of the week? I mean, we're about 24 minutes in. Got about 350 people watching us already, which is pretty awesome. I'm happy to go either way with it.
I think we start to attack the news. I'd rather the mailbag and just kind of let this thing build. If we get through all the comments, we can hit the news after, see what other questions come in, and then wrap it up. The news, again, is more for my own personal rankings. I just kind of collect it as I'm getting ready for this show. But there's a lot of nuggets on Jordan Love, Joe Mixon. So you know what? Like, some of that stuff is important because you could act upon it right now. So maybe we just – there's only like 6 nuggets. Why don't we just rip through that real quick? I thought there was like 6 to 7 news. I would love to talk about the Chiefs backfield real quick as well, because I think we're going to get a good amount of questions on Carson Steele, on Samaje Perine. So let's just rip through this news. That's kind of why we started early, so we could get a little bit more content in there. And then we'll hit all your questions. 350 of you here again, that thumbs up button. But we only have like 6 quick stories that you have to be watching. Want to just kind of alternate on these ones?
Yeah, real quick, I'll just read the copy. Jordan Love, our quarterback news. Jordan Love is practicing in pads Thursday. That's ahead of week 3 against the Titans. Schefter reported there is a chance that he plays in week 3 against the Titans. Remember, he had that knee injury at the end of the game in week 2. One of his sources said they won't be surprised if Love plays, while another calls it 50-50 at best right now. Personally, I'll just tell you, I'm skeptical.
Yeah, so
Love returned to practice Wednesday.
Yeah, we don't read every single nugget on here, just kind of the headlines. I should have just copied and pasted the headlines to get through. If he's in, though, you got to play Jordan Love. That offense looking so damn good, and it just elevates Jaden Reed, every single weapon there. But, of course, the ones like Jaden Reed, Christian Watson. So definitely important to track. One that I did want to make sure to cover was the fact Joe Mixon and Dameon Pierce both not practicing today.
Right.
It might be time to get ahead on Cam Akers, who averaged over 100. He had 130 yards on his 20-ish carries this preseason. Dameon Pierce averaged less than a yard per carry. We had Cam Akers averaging nearly 7 yards a pop. It's preseason. I know we don't want to overreact, but gets the revenge game potentially against Minnesota. Forgets all of us scrambling for running backs. Another guy that I'm scrambling for that running back 2 spot. Probably start Cam Akers should those guys both get ruled out. We know that they're leaning upon that zone running scheme for sure.
All right. Kenneth Walker, he did not participate in Wednesday's practice. He missed week 2 with the injury after not practicing at all last week. So we'll see what happens as we get closer to game day. Obviously, he's a totally significant fantasy piece if he's going.
Yeah, and Zach Charbonnet played every single snap in his absence.
I know.
So crazy. I'm not a huge Charbonnet guy, but they clearly love him. He looked okay enough against our Patriots. So, yeah, I can get that for sure. So, Cooper Kupp, he's going to wear a cast for the next week or so. Did not get placed on the IR. So, a cast never sounds good, not what you want. But at minimum, they're expecting it to be less than 4 or so weeks. A little positive after it seemed like he was going to be gone for a good stretch of time. Probably going to be 2-3 weeks. Maybe it does end up being we should have put the guy on the IR. We will find out. You never want to hear the word cast, but at least he's not going to be. It should be a 4-week at max injury, so it would seem.
Did you just feel like the Rams are just real close to just being on the edge of a cliff and just maybe one little push and they
might be over. That might have been it when they lost Puka and Cooper Kupp and all of their linemen.
That you'd be surprised what that'll do to a team.
It will be interesting though. The one guy I would say an interesting stash ahead of that is Jordan Whittington. Yeah, he's going to play the Cooper Kupp role. A guy that racked up 12 catches, 144 yards in 2 preseason games, looked like an absolute stud. I know against the preseason, but whoever that layup role is going to be solid. And he was the one that came in immediately. Played 70% of his routes out of the slot once Kupp was out. Played every single snap once Kupp was out. The guy can block like a beast too. Really like Jordan Whittington. That's like a 3% stash. Oh, Braylon Allen and Antonio Gibbs aren't in my league. Well, I bet you that Jordan Whittington's out there. Go pick that guy up if you really want a nice stash for this week.
There's somebody actually talking about Whittington in the comments right now. Real quick, we do have a super chat. Papa Samo, also known as Papa Sarno, I believe.
He's been hooking it up. He's been blessing.
Happy game day. Hope Rodgers steps on a Lego pregame. There's Legos all over my house, dude. There's plenty of Legos to get stepped on.
Landmines.
I put a post on Facebook a long time ago, and it was basically in reference to if you're in a fight with your wife, and then in the course of that argument, she steps on a Lego, it's over and you lost. I've never seen her so angry in my life. We were heated. She stepped on a Lego, and that was just I concede every single point you're making. Yes. I'm so sorry. Anyway, half PPR, 1 running back and a flex. Kyren, Monty, Worthy, Pickens. We got running back and a flex here.
And thank you again, Papa Sarno, for consistently supporting your boys here. It's so generous of you. This is a good one. Part of me, I just think you got to bench Worthy. I know I've been the Worthy truther. I know he was so great in week 1, but then disappeared for only 3 points in week 2. And I hope we find a steadying out, and we know we're going to get 7 to 8 designed deep shots to this guy each and every week. But I will say, Kyren, as much of the Rams we just talked about are combusting, dude's going to be getting 15 to 20 touches. Good chance to get into the end zone at any given week. Monty's a lock for a touchdown a week. That's happening. And Pickens, I know the stats haven't been huge yet, but he was working Pat Surtain, one of the best corners in the NFL. He's at the top of fantasy points as advanced analytics. They call it ASS is the stat, average separation score. And Pickens is up there towards the top despite getting blanketed by multiple good covers here. And I don't think the Chargers have a great secondary. I really like Pickens. I think he's one of those guys. It's an ugly offense. You can only bank on so much passing volume from Arthur Smith. I get it. But I kind of lean Pickens over Worthy right now. To me, Kyren and Monty are the locks, especially. Oh, it's one running back.
You can only get 2 guys.
Okay, so I don't even know why I'm analyzing deeper. I'm sorry, guys. I figured we had to just bench one of these guys. So, yeah, I'm going to go to 2 running backs there. But it gives me a chance to rant about Pickens, who I think is one of the better buy low candidates right now. He looks awesome. He's a player.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Thanks for the super chat again. Real quick, T. Higgins, I think we're on as far as news. We're just about done with the news. Like you said, there's not that much. It looks like he's going to be back in practice Thursday as of today. He will be able to participate in practices after missing the first 2 games of the season with his hamstring issues. You know how these hamstring things seem to linger. The Bengals have been very underwhelming. I think you would agree, although they probably should have beaten the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Higgins, obviously, if he's healthy and he's cooking, he's a real piece. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I think this is one where you do want to wait it out until Monday night because they're facing the Commanders. And I mean, you can just destroy that.
Hey.
That's the worst secondary in the league.
Hey, speaking of which, did you see that stat in the Commanders-Giants game? The Giants became the first team in NFL history to score 3 or more touchdowns, not give up a touchdown, and lose.
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely wild.
Wow.
Absolutely
you can tell your grandkids about that one.
Yeah. We all remembered where we were that day.
Yep. On my couch.
And then the last nugget is that Doug Peterson says Evan Ingram further away from Monday Night Football against the Bills. Don't expect to have him out there. Brenton Strange got 25% target share, whatever that creature is. Strange land for sure. But guys, thank you so much again for your patience. One last call as we get now into the mailbag for any thumbs up because you like it. I will note too, there was a couple comments early before I signed on from somebody that said, like, I'm a teacher too. And he asked a comment. Thank you again. Love it. Love the support and fellow teacher. It disappeared for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. I hope you're out there with us. Let us know if you do have a question. Because I think it was Evan or Ethan, somebody like that. It was a really nice comment, and I don't know where it went. It disappeared. So, yeah, interesting stuff for sure. But, yeah, let's dive on in.
We got, going on, around 450 people watching right now. We're still an hour and 10, hour and 15 away from kickoff. So we'll try to hit the mailbag and maybe get through it a little quicker than usual. Kristen Mann, obviously a longtime supporter and listener, says, go Wolfpack, like and subscribe. Have a good chat tonight. I got a conflict, so I'll be watching the replay. All right, Kristen.
Right.
Thank you anyway.
Oh, yeah, Kristen. Thanks for tuning in. You're such a great fan. Oh, the best.
Nicholas says, happy Thursday. Wolf, pick 3 in full PPR. Ayuk, Flowers, Amon-Ra, or Harrison. Harrison, who played a little possum in week 1.
30 points in the first quarter last week. Whoo, that guy is balling right now.
This is for
Detroit. Yeah. I love stacking up. Great options here, Nicola. Amon-Ra he's probably going to play, but there is a little bit of hesitancy with him right now. So obviously that would make the choice completely easy. If he doesn't play, then you got the other 3. To me, it comes down to you're definitely playing Amon-Ra if he's in. You're definitely playing Marvin Harrison. Those 2 are facing each other. Love that game environment. I think that thing's shooting out. Very fun. It comes down to Ayuk versus Flowers for me. And, I love Flowers. I love how he's getting used. He's top 4 right now in expected fantasy points per game. But I look at Ayuk, no Debo, no Christian McCaffrey. And I know he's done nothing yet this year, but he gets a Rams team that is just an abysmal defense that we just saw Marvin Harrison cook for 30 points in a quarter. And I think I'm going to go Ayuk, Amon-Ra, and Marvin Harrison, and I'm benching Flowers as much as I love him. How about you?
I think I'm probably leaning that same direction, but I definitely have pause with Flowers between Flowers and Ayuk.
It's a great question.
I like Flowers a lot. I would probably lean Ayuk. Brock Purdy, I think, has the most passing yards in the NFL or something like that.
He is. He's number 1. Do you know who number 2 is?
Oh, God. Now I wish I did.
It's not a name you'd expect.
Is it Sam Darnold?
Not Sam Darnold. I'm not going to tell you, but chat, let's put this one out to everybody. And don't look it up. Just take guesses. If you know what it is, don't give it away. But take a guess. Sam Darnold's a good one. He is in the top 10. The top 10 is wild. Pat Mahomes is not in the top 10. And
of course not.
You go up and down the list, and it is just how are these the top 10? If you know it, don't guess it. But if you don't know, take a stab. Who do you think is the number 2 passer in the NFL?
And it's not Sam Darnold.
It's not Sam Darnold. He's tied with Matthew Stafford. So 2 people are tied for second place. So Matthew Stafford and this other guy. And Brock Purdy is number 1 in passing yards. So take a stab at that one, chat.
I think that's why ultimately I'm going to lean on Ayuk over Flowers, but I do like Flowers a lot.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about this. Reginelli Harris, he was in the chat a lot at the beginning. He's mostly we did cover some of this. I'm scared Sauce might sauce up Hunter Henry. The Wolf said, and then Mo confirmed. And if Mo confirms something, that's basically gospel. Basically said you don't need to worry about that in the slot. So hopefully, whether you play him or not, and we think you should over a lot of guys, don't let that scare you off specifically.
Yeah, let us know who else you're considering, Reginelli. But I wouldn't be worried about Sauce. That's why they've actually been a pretty generous team to tight ends fantasy-wise.
All right, Jonathan Santiago, what's up, guys? Need one running back, one flex between Dobbins, Brian Robinson, JSN, or McBride. Full PPR. 1 point for first downs. Interesting.
I love that setting. I've seen that become more and more popular. I think it's a great one. Like at least a half point for first down. It kind of balances out, PPR. First downs are important. If you're the guy that whether you run the 1 yard up there and you get the first down or you catch it and you can move the chains, like I think it's worth rewarding first down. So I love that leagues are becoming more and more like that. That being said, I'm not actually all that aware of like who's racking up first downs very well right here. This is a really tricky one, though. This is a lot of great options. One, I'm asking, like, do you not start a tight end? Because Trey McBride's my number one tight end. Like,
yeah, do you have a better tight end than that?
But well, maybe
he has a better tight end. I mean, or someone he thinks is better.
There is no better tight end. He's the number one play this week. So maybe you don't start tight ends. Let me know if that's the case. But otherwise, it's like you got to have McBride in your lineup. If this is just like a true like flex league and you don't have to start a tight end, though, I'd probably still play him. I bet you he's probably still towards the top. It's Detroit, a good matchup, a shootout style game. But then it becomes the running back who you want. And, man, that's tough. I think Dobbins has been on such fire, but the Steelers are a different beast than what he's faced so far.
That's true.
He's still not well behind, but behind Gus Edwards at all is a concern. And he is behind Gus Edwards in terms of total carries right now.
Yeah.
So I think I'm leaning Brian Robinson for the running back. Like he's just been a beast. 130 yards last week. Involved, all the inside the 10 snaps right now. Decent receiving share as well. Like all the concern you'd have for Eckler, they're not so bad right now. So I think I'm going to go Brian Robinson. But then you look at JSN, it's like 16 targets last week. This is a really tough question, Jonathan. Like you got some great options.
This is what you get paid the big bucks for. You got to come down.
I think this is my answer. Final is you got to go Brian Robinson for the running back. That's who I would play, and then I think I go JSN over McBride. Like I don't know why you don't have a tight end spot for McBride. Like get tight end, get McBride in your tight end spot if you can. But yeah, JSN was like just chain moving beast. You had this like first down element, and he was just like the kind of the Amon-Ra St. Brown guy for the Seahawks. And I love it. Like I love that role. Miami is decent on the outside corners, but out of the slot, I think JSN can do some real work. So I'm going to go B-Rob and I'm going to go JSN. What about you for your two?
I'm also going to lean B-Rob, which at least in a vacuum surprises me over Dobbins because I feel like he's just been like incredible. But like you said, the Steelers, I say I don't know about some teams and what they got. I'm convinced the Steelers have a really, really good defense.
Yeah.
And I won't argue with you on JSN and McBride. I think it seems like McBride should be in your lineup one way or another. Get him in your lineup and start JSN.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, you said you were looking for this comment. I think this is the comment you were talking about.
Oh, it was Eric Buckman. Yeah, he's back. There it is.
Fellow teacher here. Pick 2, Jacobs, Dobbins, Stevenson. Thank you, sir. And you got a sir.
My guy. Yeah, I'm glad Eric Buckman. I knew it was an E name. I think I said Ethan, but I knew it was an E name. So you're back, and good to see you here. And thanks for doing the Lord's work over there, Eric. Let me know what you teach. Let me know the subjects that you're at, what grade level, all that. But we got to pick 2 of these guys. You're 100% playing Stevenson. I'm not benching him, and I'm going Jacobs. Jordan Love plays, all the better offense, better touchdown opportunities. But even without him, 30 carries, 150 yards last week. Just that Steelers matchup, I love Dobbins. Love what he's been able to do on his workload. Dobbins, we just talked about who's number 2 in passing yards. Again, let us know if you have a guess on that in the chat. Dobbins is number 2 right now, or number 1 actually in rushing yards in the league. He's literally the league's leading rusher
randomly,
which is crazy. Do you know who number 2 is again? Actually, it's another wild one.
Is it Jacobs?
No, he's number 3.
Okay, I get credit for being in the ballpark.
You get credit. You got 3rd, and Rhamondre I think is 5.
Yeah, Rhamondre was going to be my next guess. So no, who is it?
Jordan Mason, number 2 in the league.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But even that, I think I'm benching the league leading rusher right here for these guys. I have Stevenson just absolutely balling. The workload is unbelievable. And Jacobs, how could you bench a guy that just had 30 carries in a game?
By the way,
I love Dobbins, the sketchiest of the workloads here, and the efficiency has been incredible. I don't know if it continues against the Steelers. If he does it again this week against the Steelers, I played him everywhere last week, and you definitely play him against the Panthers, the right matchups. But a timeshare guy when the matchup's not ripe, it's another when you have this good of options. He's my running back 18. I really like Dobbins. I think he's a starter in a lot of leagues. Not this week for me.
I like those guys more though. Also, Eric Buckman just posted at the very bottom. He's a 10th grade social studies teacher.
Hey, there you go. Nice.
Yeah. I'm also a former longtime teacher, Eric, and I'm actually in school to be a teacher again. I substitute almost every day, so we're all doing that stuff. Matthew Noto, yo, Wolf and the Truth need a big start, sit decision handled. My league gives more points the longer the touchdown, so keep that in mind. Full PPR, Henry or Likely. Appreciate it, fellas. I think we both agree Henry here, right?
Yeah, I do have Henry higher than Likely. Given that, like, in the scoring setting, Likely is certainly more likely to get you the big touchdown. We saw, like, the big plays, the way he can break tackles, the way that he can attack the seams deep. Likely is definitely the bigger. Yeah, exactly. Did nothing last week. So, like, I think Likely is far more likely to disappear. I can't do this in this day.
It's going to keep happening.
You got to just power right through it. But Likely is definitely more likely to disappear. Whereas Henry, you're going to get your 7 targets. You're going to get your maybe your 12 targets. I don't know. I think you're going to get like 5 catches, 70-ish yards, maybe a touchdown. So sure, yes, you always want to play to your settings, but you also don't want to let the settings like completely dictate a decision. Like, yeah, sure, Likely is the bigger play threat, and yet you got to go with the guy that's a sure bet for volume. And to me, especially in full PPR too, like, okay, play to your settings. Hunter Henry's going to get a lot more dinks and dunks. And Reginelli also commenting, he doesn't see the Pats winning. I don't either, but
it wouldn't shock me though. It wouldn't
shock me at all. Wouldn't shock me at all.
Right. Jonathan Santiago, need to start 2 between Adams, Ayuk, Devontae, Smith. Hurts is my QB, by the way. Full PPR.
Wow. Yeah. These are some good decisions from Santiago. I think this is one.
I mean,
I do like stacking up Jalen Hurts. You got no AJ Brown.
No AJ Brown. I think you got to go Smith here, probably.
You got to go Smith. And then how do you bench Devontae Adams, who reminded everybody on Sunday, like, yeah, I am still a top 3 receiver in this league.
I'm starting
the matchup. Yeah, you can't bench him. Carolina's a putrid team. So, yeah, I think Ayuk, as much as I like him this week, he's done nothing yet. You know, I got to go bench an Ayuk of those 3.
Agree. Would you run Kyle Pitts or Hunter Henry this week? We actually talked about this earlier, and you said you have Pitts slightly above Henry, right?
Just slightly above him. The matchup against Kansas City, they have been the most generous team to tight ends so far. Back-to-back 20-plus point days, 2 tight ends. So, yeah, I'm going to go Pitts over Henry. But, man, if he doesn't get it done this week, so I think Pitts is a good one to put in that list. Like, I forget who the other guy we were just saying, but, like, gets so much hype and just isn't good. Like, everyone just thinks he's good, and he's just not that good. Who are we talking about?
It's been years. It's been years now. This is, I mean, what's he in his 4th year, 5th year? What is it?
This is his, no, I think it's actually only his 3rd year, isn't it?
No,
it's his 4th year at most.
Okay, 4th. Okay, but I feel like he's had 3 bad seasons. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe the season just seemed
Drake London in that boat too. Well, he caught the touchdown, I guess. But
okay, but Pitts caught the first down catch, like, you know, that kept the drive going or whatever for 8 yards. I mean, are we going to get excited about that? No, man, he stinks.
Yeah.
By the way, Kirk Cousins just sliced up I mean, have you ever seen such a dominant, like, 60 seconds destroying the Eagles defense there? Kirk Cousins. Yeah. Go ahead.
I loved it. I thought that was a surgical drive. It was great to see. You'd love to see the guy rebound and bounce back here. I think so. Okay. This is what we were talking about earlier. Yeah. And I'd love the chat to pipe in on this one too is, okay, Trevor Lawrence, just hype. Is it ever going to be warranted? Probably not. Kyle Pitts, hype. Is it ever going to be warranted? Probably not. Who's some more of those guys that are just like everybody loves, and are they actually really that good? Maybe not.
So I think you're asking a more specific question even than that, because all this hype and they haven't panned out. One thing, I think that Lawrence and Pitts have probably been in the league a very comparable amount of time, right?
Yeah.
Like their hype, whatever hype they had, has carried them at least 3 years. Like maybe more, maybe 4 years. I don't know. You know, you got guys like maybe Bryce Young, where there's all this hype coming into the league, and we've already decided.
Well, we know they suck.
We've decided after like half a season, this guy's terrible. But what are these guys that still, for some reason, have a shine to them, and they've been around a while, and we've seen them underperform year after year after year? Who are those guys? I'd say even a little more specific with it. And
I like that. Yeah, that's a good way to frame it. Yeah, like it's not like they just once had hype and we've already accepted they suck. Like for some reason they still are getting hype and probably don't deserve it. And jumping ship early is better than jumping ship late. We jumped the ship on Kyle Pitts well early, and I felt great about that. I've never been a Trevor Lawrence guy either. Like I feel like I've always had a decent sense on these like guys that have the shine. That Mo was a huge Trevor Lawrence guy all draft season, and I was like, Mo, it's not it. Like you gotta cool off on this dude. And then
so the reason I was out on him is because remember, didn't he come in under Urban Meyer? And I was 100%. I was 100% positive Urban Meyer was going to fail. So I went in with that, but I was like, oh, the guy is talented. We'll see what happens, and it just really hasn't ever clicked.
Never has clicked. Alrighty. On Ofrio Pareco asking Freiermuth or Hunter. This one's easy for me. What do you think?
Hunter.
Yeah, easy. Hunter Henry. Freiermuth. He's been okay, and it's an offense that but it's Hunter Henry. Like a 50% target share, 12 targets, 8 catches, 109 yards. Freiermuth. I like the dude in fantasy, but like not really. Actually, he's like a 70% route player right now. It's okay for a tight end, but not great. And they'll run the ball as long as they possibly can. And Onofrio saying he's saying definitely under. He's with us on that, and he's saying Pats with the points. I wonder if he thinks Pats win it outright though. That's an interesting thing to discover here.
You know Freiermuth's parents, don't you?
Oh yeah, I teach with him.
Right. That's what I thought. Hunter showed out. I want to start him off his performance last week. Yeah, and we generally agree with you unless you have a really one of the top options.
Yeah, absolutely start him. Let us know who you're considering, Reginelli, but yes, I would start him.
He has the Jets defense and Hunter Henry. But
that's not like Hunter Henry.
That's not a reason not to start him. I just hate it.
Yes. I get the idea of like not wanting to play your quarterback in the defense they're facing. Even though sometimes like the guy gets a pick six and it's like, okay, now it's favoring my QB. You never want to overthink that. And certainly not a tight end. Like Hunter Henry can get it done and your Jets defense can still only surrender like 3 total points and can have a 20-point day. Hunter Henry can have an 8 catch 100-yard day and it just leads to nothing. That's what had pretty much happened last week. So yeah, I think you definitely can play the Jets defense at home against a Patriots team that's surprised, but is not good. No,
they're not. They're not going to like make the playoffs or anything like that.
No, they'll play you tough. They'll make you sweat, but like they're not good.
Right. This is a really tough one right here from Daniel Caps. My running backs are Achane, Rachaad White, Pollard, Monty, Mason, Rhamondre. What 3 to start?
This is like
that's an embarrassment of riches, huh?
I'm out here deciding like Samaje Perine and Cam Akers, given the injuries I've already suffered at the position, and like this guy's coming in and rubbing in my face like my 5th running back is like Tony Pollard. Jeez, create some depth. Yeah. Like get some. This is one of those situations you want to trade around, but you can't bench Achane. You can't bench.
You're benching Rashad. You're benching Rachaad White.
You're definitely benching Rachaad White, Pollard. I'm probably going Achane, Mason, and Rhamondre. Is how I rank.
I hate the idea of benching Monty, although you might be right. I mean, Monty's 15, 16 fantasy points a game. Just like
I know. The thing to me though is like Mason and Achane, right. Rhamondre, Mason and Achane. Like, yeah, Monty's he's gonna get you 12 to maybe 16. There are weeks like we've seen it where he's had 3 touchdowns and gone nuts, but like that is maybe maybe he's against the Cardinals. Like that's going to be a team where they're going to probably move the ball well. Man.
I love his matchup.
I love the matchup too. I just look at though, and I'm like, I can't bench Achane, I can't bench Mason right now. And I look at Rhamondre, and I'm like, the dude is like the most missed tackles forced in the league. He's had back-to-back RB1, like top 6 days. Why would I bench him? He's been phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm gonna start Rhamondre over Monty just because of like snap share stuff like that. I mean, he's much more of a dominant. You got to. I'm just saying for the record, it makes me uncomfortable, like as a human, to bench David Montgomery. Although I believe this is a call.
It should make you uncomfortable. But yeah, I think I bench him. I mean, the Jets defense too has just gotten bludgeoned by running backs this year. Mason himself just looked like Terrell Davis against them, and then Tony Pollard had a huge day. Not huge, but like a really solid day against them. So yeah, I think Rhamondre, Achane, and Mason are the way to go there.
Okay, I'm with you. Droid 209, start 1 wide receiver and 2 flex. All right, so listen up. T. Higgins obviously practicing, but injured.
Yeah, no
Godwin, Pollard, Jerome Ford, Dobbins. Godwin has been like God mode lately.
Oh, yeah, you're starting Godwin. There's
Awesome.
literally no doubt about that. Surtain probably trailing Mike Evans. Your receiver answer is definitely Godwin. Now it just becomes like, is T. Higgins against the Commanders good enough to beat out two of these running backs? I'm not considering Jerome Ford. He actually got out-carried by Foreman last week despite looking 10,000 times better. I can't bother with that. If Foreman's going to get that much work, no thank you. So I'm going to go Godwin, and I think I'm going to go Pollard and Dobbins. And I think I bench Higgins just because, again, we don't know that he's going to play on Monday. Obviously, the matchup's right, but like
I'm not. Even if he's playing, I'm probably not starting him over those guys.
I like Pollard a lot, and I like J.K. Dobbins a lot. I'm not playing Ford. Like Ford's my least favorite of all of these options, but I'm definitely going Godwin. And then, Pollard, Dobbins for me. It sounds like we're aligned on that one for sure.
We are. Quick question. As we are over 500 people, we still got like a little less than an hour before kickoff. Tell your friends, tune in, come give us a like, give us a subscribe. I do have one question. As you mentioned Jerome Ford in the last question, you talked about getting out carried by Deontay Foreman, stuff like that. What are your thoughts on Nick Chubb as a stash? Like an IR stash, obviously.
So, I mean, let's get the intangibles out of the way. Locker room presence can't be beat. Nick Chubb sitting there coaching your rookies, sending a message to the veterans that think they're injured. Like, Nick Chubb is the man. So having him in your locker room is great. I think he's a great stash. I do think, like, it's the Stefanski zone blocking scheme. It's always been productive. And Ford's looked really good so far this year when he's gotten used. Foreman's just a big just lump of coal in that backfield right now. But ultimately, like, when Chubb comes back, there's no guarantee how healthy he is. Right, maybe he never looks like Nick Chubb again. That was a bad injury, but, it's the type of cyborg guys like the Adrian Petersons. And it wouldn't shock me if Nick Chubb, who we saw the video of like squatting like 800 pounds a handful of months away from his surgery, it's like he just strikes me as the cyborg type of guy. And like, had they needed him, it wouldn't have shocked me if he started the year, like just playing. But they're like, okay, let's bring him along slowly. When he comes back, I imagine it's because he's feeling good. And I wouldn't be shocked if we get just like, I don't think we'll get Nick Chubb, like the guy that he always has been in terms of usage. But by the end of the year, we really could. Like, he's clearly so much better if he's healthy than anyone they have. And then really anyone in the league almost. So I love stashing him. There's no doubt about it. Like, especially if you have an IR spot, there's literally zero reason.
I have him stashed in an IR spot.
That's why you asked. You just wanted you're kind of tugging it.
No, I want to know if I'm crazy. I want to know if I'm crazy because I
saw the camera start to like jerk a little bit as you. I saw you bouncing it up and down underneath there where that hand.
No, I mean, to me, I was like, this makes a lot of sense, but then I was like, am I crazy? Is there something I don't know?
No, you got yourself a great player. Mo's not a Chubb guy. I am definitely a Chubb guy.
It's tough not to be a Chubb guy. By the way, Charlie just posted at the very bottom of the comments, all hype guy, preseason hype guy, Josh Gordon. Good call.
Oh, yeah. That's a great one.
Great call. He did have one amazing season.
Yeah, but he was great. Like, and I want to focus on the active
players. More like after he wasn't great, we were still convinced he was going to be great.
And he got screwed over. Like, he at least at some point had himself a phenomenal year. Like, all the other guys, like, Pitts had that 1,000-yard rookie year with like one touchdown, and everyone's clinging to it that a rookie tight end put up 1,000 yards, and he must be amazing. He's a cum rag since then. Like, he's been nothing since then. So like, Trevor Lawrence is going to probably have a 3-game stretch this year where he has 25 points in back-to-back weeks,
right?
And then every other week's going to be like 12 points, and you're going to say, I never wanted to use this guy anyways.
You're right.
Yeah. Let's think of the active guys. Josh Gordon, I wouldn't put there. Like, yes, so many years have we tried to get back on him and get him to reborn, but like there was a year where he was the number 1 receiver in the NFL, even though he missed 2 games. Like, he came in and had like 200 yards in like 3 straight games. Right. He at least backed up like the hype for even just a season. None of those guys have ever fully put together a season where it's like, yeah, I warranted hype. So it's not like we've ever truly seen a worthy season from these guys, and yet we continue to treat them like they deserve.
As if we have, right?
As if we had. So like Lawrence and Pitts are, I think, shining examples of that. I almost want to say Olave. I still think Olave is going to break out, like, and truly break out.
We'll see because he's
on that list right now.
One of those guys. This might be the year where we find out about that for sure. Keep hitting us with some if you guys can think about them. Antonio Lopez, would you do Josh Allen, Waddle, and Kyron for CD, A-Rich, and Moss?
Yeah, I think I would in a full PPR league. Like CD is probably the number 1 ranked player on my big board for the rest of the season.
I mean, right now Waddle has almost no value at all.
No, you lose Tua, and maybe Tua comes back, maybe not. I don't know. I think Kyron's value is kind of going downward as well with the line all banged up, that offense sucking. Like, sure, he's going to be more of a volume magnet, but this is not the fertile environment that should like foster a huge season. Yeah, I mean, going like Allen is the number 1 quarterback, but like you're getting the best player in the like my number 1 player in fantasy, and to get the number 1 player in fantasy without like getting marked downgrades everywhere else, like Rich, like Josh Allen, A-Rich, that is a big downgrade. But like it's quarterback, you can figure out quarterback. You pick up Derek freaking Carr, and he's going to throw you 25 fantasy points. Moss to Kyron, sure, it's a downgrade. It does. Every trade is like context dependent. Who else do you have around it? But to me, anytime you can get the number 1 player, like he is number 1 on my half PPR big board, never mind full PPR, CD Lamb, you pull the trigger if it's not completely lopsided, and this one's not completely lopsided by any means.
All right, cool. We got a few in there, trade something small, some advice, but then I think the next real comment is back at Antonio again.
Oh, okay. I'd rather go Parkinson. Over Hunter Henry, no way, Shook. Go.
No,
I have Parkinson.
Right.
I wish I had Hunter Henry. I have Parkinson, and I would kill to have Hunter Henry on my team right now.
So Antonio Lopez, also someone dropped Christian Watson. Is that worth a waiver claim? So this is very similar to when I said, people went and snapped up, the Jets guy, Braylon, and you were like, me. Well, let me tell you who dropped Christian Watson. Me. I dropped Christian Watson. Right.
That might be a little hasty, Truth. Maybe
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll tell you. So, I mean, I haven't liked what I've seen out of him. It's not just the Love injury and stuff like that. I haven't liked the usage. He did score in the first week, but it's like he doesn't seem to be like a downfield threat guy. Like it really doesn't. He just seems like short passes, not as involved as maybe 2 other guys. I didn't like it.
It's such a small sample. Like we've seen glimpses of this dude knifing through. That was with Aaron Rodgers. So but Jordan Love looks great. So here's the thing: is like we know the quarterback when he's healthy is legit. And even last year, Watson was in and out of the lineup, but when he was in, he had a few just like 20-point days. Yeah, it might be one of those headaches that you'll never get right. I get that. He could definitely be one of those guys. I guess it depends on how high the waiver claim is, though. Like, I don't think I would ever cut the guy this early. Like, I think Jaden Reed is clearly the play. I think Dobbs is like the number 1 receiver in terms of targets and like usage, even though he's unexciting. But like, if Watson just caught fire and went on a huge tear, like there was a stretch as a rookie where he was the number 3 receiver in fantasy for like 4
It's true. Weeks. But if he caught fire at this point, he'd do it on my bench anyway. Like like he's one of these like darts at a dartboard guy. I just don't trust him. I respect your take on him. I do not trust the guy at all. Basically, I decided, I'd way rather roll Brian Thomas Jr. out there than him.
Oh yeah. In that case, in terms of starting, yes, I'm going Brian Thomas. And if I had to pick one to keep on my team, 10 out of 10 times, it's just a matter of like, is there no other bench trash you could cut and just see what happens with the guy? Like, he doesn't feel like he should be out there.
It depends what you think of as trash. I got Bucky Irving, I got Likely, I got Samaje Perine, and I got Wright. I mean, I got a lot of guys that like might pop. But
you have a lot of sexy handcuffs. I might have dropped like one of the handcuffs. I don't know which one either. Like maybe Wright.
That's the thing. Do I want to be the guy that dropped the wrong handcuff? God, I'd rather just cut Christian Watson.
Yeah. And he might, in terms of locker room presence, the guy is a cancer in your fantasy locker room. So, like, he just sends the wrong message. He's hurt, yeah. So, if it's a small waiver claim, like if you have the number 1 pick, Antonio, no, I would not burn it on Watson. But I'm keeping the light on for the guy. I'm not completely fading off of him yet.
All right, this is just advice for somebody without the QB. The rest of the guys fighting for targets, I'd say yes. If you're weak at wide receiver, wait.
Oh, he's talking about Watson. Okay, yeah.
Right.
For Santiago and Smith. Yeah. And I love it, guys. Keep helping each other out. We'll just kind of keep sifting through the actual questions, but I love when you guys help each other out. Another plea, too, if you're watching live with us, that thumbs up button, the likes, the shares, the retweets do so greatly help us get out to more people. We're at about 550. Honestly, truth, probably better than I expected for a crap game like that tonight.
Yeah, we got loyal fans, man. We appreciate it, guys.
We have hit 700, 800 on these shows routinely the last 2 weeks, so I'd love to get there. But, we can't be greedy on a night like this when it's an ugly game with not a ton of great stories to cover about it. I get it. But, hey, maybe you guys can help us out with a like, a share, a retweet. All that stuff does help us to continue to get out to more people. And I'd love to leave this show over 4K. I think we're like literally 2 subscribers away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably give a free T-shirt to whoever hits 4K.
Lucky number 4K gets a free shirt. Right. If we could track that, I would absolutely do that.
Yeah, of course. Reginelli Harris. I have Keon Coleman. I need him to break out like everyone else. I like how much he's been in the comments, by the way. He's been
Reginelli's bringing some great heat. It's so tricky. Week 1 leads a team in routes, in targets, in receiving yards, and then doesn't even get a single catch in week 2, like 1 target.
Right.
I don't know what to make of the guy. I don't know. I can't cut him unless it's a real shallow league. But yeah, like I don't know that anybody other than Khalil Shakir is going to end up becoming like a routinely startable guy there.
Agree. LeBron's come. Hey, glad to be here again. Should I start Shakir or BTJ? Half PPR. I love BTJ.
I love BTJ too. And I know I just talking about Shakir, like probably going to be the main guy for Allen.
I don't care.
I don't care either. I love Brian Thomas. Like he's just a stud. He's already made Christian Kirk into a nobody. Like that's how good Brian Thomas is. And if Trevor Lawrence wasn't just a overhyped bag of garbage, I know we keep coming back to it. I think BTJ, like if you put him with Josh Allen, he would be a 1,300 to 1,400 yard receiver from his rookie year. Like he's that good.
I just want to let you know that we officially are at 4K.
Yeah, we made it, baby. Yeah. Whoever joined tonight, if you joined and you sub tonight, maybe we'll shoot out a couple T-shirts tonight. Love it. Got over 4K, baby.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys. All right, now the push for 5 starts.
Now the push for 5 starts. The grind begins. That's awesome. That feels real good to get over there. Thank you guys so much. Making an ugly night with a gross Pats game otherwise feel great. So thank you so much. That's incredible.
It's been fun to hang out with you guys. Reginelli has another question.
Yeah, but I go BTJ. Absolutely.
I have Josh Allen, Cook, and Kincaid, and I have Murray and Harrison in a 2 QB league. Wow. That's stacks upon stacks upon stacks.
Stack and stack and stack. And that's, I mean, super flex league where you got 2 top 6 guys cooking like that. That is just beautiful. You just need Kincaid to start rolling for you, Reginelli. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
So Dalton, the starter, that definitely helps out there. For sure. With I'm intrigued to see what Dalton does as a starter. I'm not gonna lie, he had 362 yards his last start for sure. All righty. I think the next question comes at Daniel Cass. I love Ano Frio. Love all the questions, comments, everything going back with the helping each other out. Keep it rolling. Love that stuff. But we're not gonna pull in like random comments you guys make to each other. We're just gonna jump to the questions. But that's awesome. We love you guys supporting each other.
Would you trade Achane and St. Brown for DK, Rice, and Jonathan Taylor?
Oh, man. And he gives the team here, which gives us some context. His receivers do suck, other than St. Brown. I think I pulled this deal just because, I don't know, though. This is tricky. But, like, the depth
he's getting 3 real pieces.
I don't know, man. Like, but you look at your running backs, and it's like, yeah, Taylor starts on this team. But you got great depth there. Like,
he's the one with like the just insane running backs.
Great running backs, but like the receivers do suck. But like, could you make a less impactful trade? Could you do Monty or a Wright or a Rhamondre for Rice, or like one of those running backs and Terry for Rice? You know, you don't have to shake up the whole roster and give up Achane and St. Brown. You're absolute monsters to get another monster deal. Like, figure out a nice smaller deal. Get Rice for one of those 2 running backs plus a receiver, or go for DK for Rhamondre. You know, you can pull a smaller deal that then really you need receivers. There's no doubt about it. It's clearly your weakness, but you don't have to nuke your team and nuke the other team and, big guns for big guns. Like, make a nice small deal or both you guys win. You don't have to be nuts blockbuster. It's still a big deal. Rice for like Rhamondre and Shakir is a nice solid deal that is like it's still good fireworks. You don't need all that crazy. I don't know. That's how I would play this, right?
Sage advice from the Wolf, measured advice. If the years ago when the Wolf was a reckless mid-20s, he would have been just slinging all over the place. This is a matured, a married, just a wiser Wolf than we used.
A grizzled veteran, just chill, mature, take it easy. Like, take it easy. That you're right. Like, when we first started this, I let the fireworks off, baby, blow it up. But no, don't blow that baby up. Like, you got some good pieces and you got plenty to move that could still improve your team without giving up. Achane St. Brown, I don't want to give those guys up ever. You don't have to. You have plenty of good fodder behind them.
Agreed. Jonathan Santiago, trade Bowers and Dobbins for Taylor.
I don't know. I really think Bowers is the best tight end in the league now.
Oh, really? I don't know.
Other than Trey McBride, like I really do. Like he's on my rest of season big board. I think I put him at 2 or 3.
What's your other tight end? Yeah, you know what? Even if I don't think he's 2 or 3, he's a clear upper echelon starter.
9 for 98 against the region.
You're giving him the leading running back in the league, and yeah, one of the top tight ends. I probably don't do it.
I guess the only thing I do think about this one is like, who's your next tight end? Because as good as the Dobbins story is, like it almost feels inevitable. As sad as it is to say, like,
yeah, you're right.
He gets injured every year. Maybe this is the year, and if he does stay healthy, like we know the run scheme's great, we know he's churning in it. He could just be the fantasy league winner of this season. It just feels inevitable that at some point, like Dobbins, the Cinderella pumpkins kind of come to roost. You know, like
that's a good call.
It just, but like giving up your best tight end, like, and part of this for me too is like
it's not like JT is bulletproof, dude.
That's kind of what I wanted to say. Is like,
okay.
I'm not going to put JT in that John. You know the Trevor Lawrence. We had the season. We had the 1,800 yards.
No, he had a season where he was the best running back in the league.
It's been a while since we've seen it though.
It has.
You know, last week he went from 92% of snaps to like 40. He played like less than half the snaps last week.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, probably this trade works out for you, but I don't know. Like, I probably do it though, because I do think like more likely to bust and like break out, like, and not pan out is Dobbins. I think Taylor, like, it's gonna work out. But then like Richardson's vulturing him. I don't know. If you don't feel like it's like, yeah, hammer it, take the deal. I don't know that I take it. Like, it really depends on what your tight end is. And I think Bowers is an edge. Like, I think Bowers is legitimately an edge this year.
McKalen F at the very bottom of the chat just says very simply, don't trade Bowers.
Yeah. Like, I bet you next year, Truth, like, I don't think Bowers is a fluke at all. And I wouldn't be shocked if next year we're taking Bowers like round 2, maybe even like, you know, like that Kelsey Laporta, like late round 2, maybe mid round 2. Like, I could see Bowers very easily being that guy. You know, I absolutely could.
All right. That's just very long roundabout way. I'm not making the deal.
No, I don't think so either. I don't feel great about it.
All right.
Oh, so we have, a couple more. I love again, Onofrio giving some help up there.
He gets irritated with you in a minute. I'm just going to warn you.
I love it.
I have Steele everywhere where I think Allen and Hall are going to be like Gibbs and Montgomery. I hope not, because I don't want Brees to lose that bell cow role. But I definitely see the comp you're making.
Yeah, I think Brees is a different beast than Gibbs, and I respect both those guys. I think they're both A+, like, you know, explosive talents. But Hall is bigger. Hall is like he can be your goal line guy. He probably will be the goal line guy.
He's like a Gibbs and Monty like hybrid kind of.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good way to put it. And I just don't see a world where, like, you know, Monty is so defined as like, I'm going to close games out. I'm going to always be the goal line guy. And Gibbs is, you know, I guess not always. His inside the 10 has gone up this year too. But like, I don't ever see it being that close where it's like every single week, you know, you're getting a 55-45. Like, I think a 65-35, yeah, a very light version of it at best is where I think I see this going. At best.
Right, fair enough.
Yeah.
He says Dobbins hasn't been able to stay healthy at all. I'm assuming you have another tight end too. He's given some advice to somebody else.
And he has. So here it does change things out. He has McBride. So at that point, yeah, if you have McBride and Bowers, yeah, you capitalize on the depth and you can trade Bowers and Dobbins for Taylor. Could you go? Could you get someone else? Could you get Saquon? Could you get Bijan? Could you get Brees? You know, all guys I have above Jonathan Taylor. But I would do this deal knowing that context. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So now he's irritated because you admitted that you didn't handcuff Jordan Mason.
Yeah.
He says the main rule in fantasy for the last 5 years, you draft CMC, you draft his backup. This guy didn't, and we're listening to him. Come on, ask me, guys. I got you.
Onofrio, we're shouting you out. We're enjoying your presence, and then you have to come from the top rope. This is what happened, Onofrio, is it's an auction draft, and the guy wisely, and it was foolish about mine. I'm not going to ever justify it. It was dumb, but somebody noticed that my max bid was 1, and he nominated Jordan Mason for 2, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't get him.
Right. You should have planned ahead a little better, but sometimes you're screwed at the end. Right.
And what drained my budget was I bid $4 on JSN, and that's looking okay. 12, but yes, I would have, in hindsight, bid $15 on Mason if I could have. Absolutely. It was definitely a cardinal sin. 100%. I know I was wrong. I wish I had, but it wasn't like a snake draft where it's like, okay, I'll go a couple rounds early. It was like an auction draft. I had bid all my money, and they just wanted to rub it right in my face, and they did. And he continues to, and he keeps offering like neighbors for Mason, and I can't take it, but like, damn, So yes, Onofrio, you're deserving to trash on me, but I understand I was wrong, and an auction draft makes it a little bit different. So maybe I'll change your tune, maybe not. Maybe you still think I'm a tool that no one should listen to. Whatever. Yeah. I'm glad you're here either way.
you have many fine other qualities. And look, I know a lot about fantasy. When I got it, last auction I got in, I just made a fool of myself. Sometimes it just doesn't go the way you think it's going to
go. We got a great question coming up, by the way. I don't know if you've seen it, but don't look ahead if you haven't yet.
I've seen it, and I'm looking forward to it. Kyle Butler, would you guys trade Dalton Kincaid and Deontay Johnson for Ayuk?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, absolutely. That I think Ayuk is about to erupt, no doubt.
All right, let's skip right to the question because Mixon's probably not going. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, we got to. Well, this is what the reaction was, man. What the? So let's get to the question here.
Back 9, Ronnie. Okay, and I'm strangely interested to know your answer to this. Do you guys look at the toilet paper when you wipe or not? This is not totally fantasy relevant, but I mean, he put it out there, so we might as well give it 30 seconds.
So I got a couple takes here. One is I 100% love the wet wipes. Like I'm a full on, I always use wet wipes. Like it's just 10,000 times better than toilet paper. But if I'm stuck at school and have to go, and I didn't bring my wipes with me, which I don't travel typically with my wipes. I think it's the truth. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you kind of have to look to know how much do you have more damage to do? What more cleanup? Yeah. I feel like you have to be a psycho to just wipe and be like, I hope I got it.
Yes. The short answer is yeah, of course I do.
You kind of have to. Do I sit there and admire oh, this is a Rembrandt?
Oh yeah, I'm not going to get weird about it, but of course I do.
Yeah. Wow, I'm really impressed with how horrible that was.
Right.
There's no better feeling, by the way. One, you have to look. You have to. It's gross not to. It sounds gross to be yeah, of course I look, but you have to know what you're dealing with. But two, the most satisfying thing is a wipe and you look and there's just nothing there. A pure clean, that was just a log that yep, and I'm done. One wipe.
And hopefully we didn't lose too many of our viewers during that discussion. But you and me are in lockstep as usual.
Anybody out there that doesn't is psycho. You have to look and know what,
Someone Jonathan says someone dropped Love in my league and he's not on my bench for a backup behind Stroud.
Yeah, I would pick up Love for a backup. You don't even need backups. Those are the type of guys to get there.
And Wolf, I don't
know if he's talking about me. He's a clown. There's always one, or if he's talking about the dude asking about.
No, I think he's actually talking about that dude.
Yeah, I love it though. I'll take random ass weird questions like that. Why not?
Sure, why not? We got time. Rhamondre is a must start tonight. I think we agree with you on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, okay. So once I thought we were almost on the last 2 questions, and then I realized we have
we have Wolf. We have 100 left, so or at least I don't know how many of your questions, but there's definitely a lot of action in the.
I love the action, baby. Let's go.
A lot of action in the YouTube chat. Stevenson, and we're gonna go. I'm gonna say you're going rapid fire at 8:00 if we still aren't done yet, because I want to make sure we're done at kickoff. We went a little over kickoff last time.
Yeah, 100%.
Kicks for you too. Stevenson, Charbonnet, Olave, Waddle, D. Henry. I have to bench 2 of them. To me, in this group, I'm probably benching the 2 receivers, man.
I'm definitely benching Waddle. That's the easy one with Skylar Thompson.
I mean,
The
Charbonnet
average,
is maybe a little contingent on Walker.
yeah, it certainly is. If Walker plays, then obviously Charbonnet is an easy bench too. I still struggle to bench Olave. I know he hasn't lit it up quite yet, but that Saints offense is cooking, and he's been top 4 in terms of like separation, and the underlying metrics are all the buy low arguments are for Olave, and honestly, I buy him. Like the way this offense has looked under Clint Kubiak is brilliant. I'm definitely playing Stevenson. Very hard to bench Derrick Henry. I think, oh man, who do the Ravens have again this week?
Cowboys, I think.
Yeah, that's actually not the best of matchups. Although they got bled out by Kamara last week. I'm gonna go.
I went against Kamara. I'm aware.
Oh man, that was painful, huh?
It was fucking awful. I mean, it was awful.
You got Olave facing the Eagles too. I mean, that secondary is a joke. I'm gonna go Stevenson, Henry, Olave is who I play, and I bench Charbonnet and Waddle.
That would have been that definitely would have been my second choice. So
Yeah.
we're very close. We both agree.
Olave could be benchable, but I think this is the big
but
rebound.
maybe not. We'll see. Kyron and either Pigmani is just helping out with one of the other questions.
Oh yeah. So let's get to Charlie here.
Yeah, there's a lot of chat, which is awesome. We'll have to
sift through
a little bit with what we're going to put on. Charlie says rolling with Henry tonight rather than suffering another week of Willie, won't he, with Ferguson's knee? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think that's the play. I have him ranked ahead. Just like let it go. Because if Ferguson doesn't play, what are you starting? Schoonmaker? Now you're going to burn a roster spot? Ugh, it's gross. And Carson agreeing with us. You play Stevenson and you likely play Hunter Henry for sure tonight. I think Daniel has a question here. Let me see.
God, we're over 600 strong here, guys, on this potentially lousy game. So thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks so much for being here. Any thumbs up, like, shares, retweets, and subs. We hit the 4K tonight. You love it. Let's keep climbing to 5,000 now, baby. Let's go.
All right. Daniel says, I'm starting 3 running backs. I'm thinking Rhamondre, Mason, and H. This is Daniel's the guy.
Oh, yeah. He's the one with those. Yeah. You got the right choices. Like,
we agree with you on this. And, man, good for you. However you pulled that off. Yeah, however you managed to pull that up. Sorry, I just got a random phone call that showed up on the computer screen. Yeah. No, I'm not. That's the shocking part. Should I start New York Jets defense or the Raiders defense?
I think Raiders are getting a lot of hype. They're facing the Panthers, and that's been a very winning strategy is playing whoever's facing the Panthers. But I think Andy Dalton's certainly you can't get worse than what Bryce Young's been doing. And like we said, last year, Andy Dalton threw for 362 yards in his only start. Looked really, really solid. So I'm going to go Jets defense tonight. I think the Raiders are a little bit of fool's gold this week is how I feel.
All right. Agree. And Onofrio did end up signing off for the night. So it was good having you, bud. I hope you appreciated the Wolves' explanation on the Mason
debacle. You might have been off before we explained it, though, because that was at 7:06 where he signed off, and we're at 7:48.
Anyway, yeah. So I think that's it. Hold on, I have to answer something. Take the next one, Wolf.
All right, I'll rip through. Yeah, I'm trying 2 tight ends. Hopefully this breaks the curse. I don't know if I ever like starting 2 tight ends. You got to have better than that, Carson. Let me know what you got there. But yeah, alrighty. I want to add Braylon Allen, Bucky Irving, or Rico Dowdle. But who would you cut off my bench? Higgins, Robinson, Xavier Worthy, Spears, or Likely? Oof. It depends who your starting tight end is. I think you can cut Likely. I know you probably bid up on him and the number 1 pick of week 1, but week 2 showed this is going to be an up and down carousel unless Andrews goes down. And I'd probably add Allen tonight. And if you can bench churn, he does nothing and you want to add Irving, go for it. But I think Allen is the better bench play here for sure is how I look at it.
Malik Montgomery, Ford, Stevenson, and Henry. Start 2, bench 1. I'm definitely benching Ford here.
Yeah, easy bench Ford. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. How's it going,
and Eric,
fellas?
Godspeed indeed to you as well, brother. The education game. I do a high school special ed, and I know Truth has been long grinding in the game.
I've been long grinding. I used to work with the Wolf. That's why we know each other. That's why we're doing this. How's it going, fellas? I need 1 running back, 1 flex, a half-point PPR.
So he needs 2 flexes, by the way, is his next comment. So
so we're 1 running back, 2 flexes, half point. Najee, Dobbins, B-Rob Jr., Ford, Neighbors, DJ Moore. Okay.
So
1 running back, 2 flexes.
Yeah, we've talked about B-Rob over Dobbins.
I like B-Rob here for my running
back. Neighbors, you're locking him in. You don't think twice, even though the matchup against Cleveland, I get it, but you're playing him. I'm going to go B-Rob. I'm going to go Neighbors. And then we need one more of all these guys. I think I like Dobbins the most. I don't
I'm
love
probably
DJ
gonna,
Moore.
yeah, Dobbins even against the Steelers. I mean, he's the leading rusher in the league.
Yeah,
You
leading
can
rusher in
roll
the
him.
league, looking damn good. That
Roll
line
him
is a
out.
beast.
He might punch it in.
Yeah, I like Dobbins there.
4 running backs are Achane, Henry, Stevenson, Jerome, Ford, Benchu, obviously Ford.
Forward, easy bench.
Here we go. Where are we at right now?
We're at Shades.
Purdy, Carr, or Caleb Williams?
Comes down. It's definitely not Caleb Williams.
Not Caleb Williams. I can tell you
not
that.
even close. It's crazy that like Derek Carr is where I kind of my gut says to like go. But I mean, Purdy is leading the NFL in passing. He hasn't thrown a lot of touchdowns. But like, I'm going to go Derek Carr. I'm just going to ride that Saints wave right now. And an offense, like they got a shootout style script this week. Like they put up 45, 47 points. That's the most in over 100 years in total points in 2 games. And they haven't even been pushed. Like I think the Eagles could keep pace with them and force them into more passing. So I'm going to go Derek Carr over Purdy. I'm adjusting my ranks to reflect that right now.
And I'm going Purdy.
Yeah. All right.
I have Chubb stashed and Jonathan Brooks. My backs are Etienne and Jordan Mason.
Not bad. You got a couple nice stashes there. And Mason's like the perfect bridge for you. You know, as soon as he loses relevancy, one of those guys comes in, bam. You know, nice.
Henry or Kelsey. And Michael and F is big in the chat, still going in the chat. Been all over the place, answering questions, asking questions, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and I don't remember seeing you before, so good to see you. If you've been here before, sorry, I missed you.
No, it seems new. Well, welcome. Hopefully you subscribe and come back, help out in the chat for multiple questions. I am going to go Kelsey here. I know it's like, what the hell has this guy done?
Really?
Looks kind of lackadaisical on his routes, but like, I don't know. It's still Travis Kelce. I guess how many more weeks can we keep saying, it's still Travis Kelce? But like, I don't know. The Falcons, like, it's not a great defense. Would you go Hunter Henry over Kelce? Like this is close.
I would really, really think about it, and I can't believe I'm saying that.
Yeah, which is nuts. Like Kelce should be so clearly locked in. But,
I guess I would. I think I would. At the end of the day, I'd probably roll Kelce out again. But man, I'm really thinking about this a lot harder than I feel like I should have to.
I mean, I look at it though. I have Kelce 8 and Hunter Henry 9. Like I was like, why is it so hard for me? And I have him literally ranked back to back. So you know, I'd go Kelce. I know if I had this decision staring me in the face, I'd still go Kelce because you're going to bench him and he's going to have his 4 touchdown day. And you're like, yeah, well, that's what I get. So I'll just go Kelce there.
Stricter roster restriction league. Keep 1 in Dynasty. Javon Baker, Malik Washington, Tolbert, Demarcus Robinson. Who are you keeping?
I think I keep you got to only keep one of them. Probably, given it's a Dynasty league, I'm most intrigued by Malik Washington still here.
Charlie says we all chased that high for years. He's talking about Gordon.
Yeah, I feel part in the expression. Yeah, there you go. There you go,
it's Charlie. Deshaun, should I start Braylon Allen? I have Jacobs and Monty. I would not start him over either of those guys.
Yeah, no, you definitely playing Jacobs and Monty. And I love Braylon Allen, but no, you're not starting him over those guys. Breece Hall's out. Now we're talking. But, you know, as long as Breece Hall's there, he's still the like 70% of the guy. Yeah.
Don't even put that out into the universe.
We're not risking Ingram. He's not going to play. So, no. And then you're stuck with, like, Bretton Strange on Monday night. No, you can't risk
Hunter or Laporta. Yeah,
you got to go Laporta. It's similar to Kelce. I get it. Hunter Henry's probably even safer at this point. But, come on. This is your second, third round pick. You got to go Laporta.
Casa Benitez, and I'll tell you, Casa actually subscribed to let us know in the chat later. Maybe Casa was 4K. I don't know.
Maybe needs a shirt.
With Kittle questionable and no other options, do I start Henry tonight? Yeah.
I don't know though. I don't think Kittle's that questionable. And then it's like, have you burned your tight end
spot?
How
it depends. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. No. If there's a good chance Kittle's rolling out, you're playing Kittle. But
Kittle's going to roll out. Kittle's going to play, and it's without Debo. And games without Debo, Kittle is like the tight end of all tight ends. So yeah, you're playing Kittle. It's worth waiting it out. And if worst case comes, your push comes to shove, you pick up Colby Parkinson, or you pick up. We'll find something for you on a Sunday 8 a.m. stream as when we go live. But Kittle's going to play, and if he doesn't, we'll figure it out. Jose, I do think this is a little bit overkill in terms of Hunter, Parkinson, and Laporta. You don't need Parkinson. You have Hunter and Laporta. And 2 tight ends is already a little bit of a stretch, but 3, especially when Parkinson's your third, use that roster spot on a Braylon Allen, on a Bucky Irving, on Antonio Gibson tonight. You can do better than Parkinson for your bench. You do not need 3 tight ends.
Agree. We answered this question already.
Oh, yeah. So you definitely, again, you're waiting it out for Kittle. He's worth it.
McKalen says, I have Hunter, Ingram, and Kelsey. Which one? Again, we're not risking an Ingram, and it's very close between Hunter and Kelsey for us. We both lean Kelsey, but we're like wincing as we do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Jordan Whittington or Tyler Johnson?
So if this is just a pure stat, even if it's not, I think Whittington's the slot role. And I know that means his expiration date's probably sooner than Tyler Johnson's. When Cup's back, he's gone. But I want the layup Cup role anytime I can get it. And I think that is Whittington. He showed that he could really do that over the preseason. So one or the other, Tyler Johnson had his shot last week. He did not show up. So I'm going Jordan Whittington here. It looks like Jose's answering Casa Bonitas. So yeah.
Pitts is bad, but also going against a good matchup. Henry seems to be the number 1 target.
Yeah, I'm still going Pitts. The upside against that Chiefs defense is too real. What's up, Taylor? Great to see you, brother. Good to see you, man. Should I play Jennings as a flex? Again, depend. Oh, yes, she has B Cooks or you're playing Shaheed. If that's Rashid Shaheed, you're playing Rashid Shaheed 10,000 out of 10,000 times. Jefferson, you're not benching Justin Jefferson either. So yeah. And again, Bonita subbed. Love to see it. A lot of new names out there. We'd love you
maybe a 4K guy.
Maybe the 4K guy. Love to see it. So yeah, I love having you guys. Thank you again so much for being here, subscribing and liking it.
We're going to go rapid fire in 3 minutes. And like I said, the chat is really, really active. It's not all questions for us, although some of it is, but a lot of people talking, a big chat on YouTube, which is awesome. The Joker, Bears or Jets defense, also Purdy or Baker Mayfield, full PPR.
So I'm going to go Purdy. I do like Purdy's matchup this week. League leader in passing yards right now. The touchdowns will come. I'm going to lean. I love the Bears defense, but I think the Jets tonight, they're against the bad Pats defense. I think they're going to get after us, the pass rush. I could see a pick 6 for Jacoby. I'm going to go Jets over the Bears. What about you?
Agree.
All righty. And then we got Hunter Henry or Jake Ferguson. I definitely go Hunter Henry here. We don't even know Ferguson's going to play, but even if he does, he's probably banged up. I'd rather just get my guy in there.
Yeah, no way I want to stress about that. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like Reginelli. I don't know if this is a question. He's kind of giving us his team. If Walker sits, I'm playing Coleman or KYE. Is that Quentin Johnston? Okay, yeah. I would probably play Quentin Johnston right now the way he is cooking.
That's
for sure. All righty. Let's go to Jose. Again, if I miss you, there's a lot of great interaction going on here. It's not deliberate. I'm not skipping over people on purpose, but I see a lot of people answering each other, and I'm trying to sift through, find the questions. So I'm sorry, especially when the rapid fire hits. Probably
Richardson
not going to be
Richardson or Purdy?
I go Richardson. Yeah, you got to go Richardson. The rushing upside. I know last week was disappointing, but any week he's out there, the upside is so damn big.
Me too.
We're on play Zach Moss and Joe Mixon, but yeah, he's a fine fill-in.
Yeah, he's decent.
It depends who the other options are, but he's like the 80% snap guy right now for Bengals offense. That's probably going to start rounding into form. We've gotten this one a few times, Pitts or Henry, and are you Pitts? I'm team Pitts.
I hate Pitts, and I'm leaning Pitts a little bit. But I mean, I don't expect him to come through or anything like that. I'm just leaning that way right now. I would probably favor Pitts slightly over him, but it makes me sick wanting to think about starting that guy.
Yeah. 2 QB super flex, Rodgers, Fields, or Minshew. Oh man, we gotta pick 2 of these guys.
Wow, dude.
I guess I'm going Fields.
I'm probably starting Rodgers.
And this is actually posed the question earlier, Truth. The second leading passer in the NFL right now, Gardner Minshew, is second in passing yardage.
That would have taken me a long time, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you. That would have taken 20 guesses probably.
I don't know if I would have ever gotten to Minshew had I not known that.
I have no idea.
But I think I'm going Rodgers and I'm going Fields here. What about you?
Me too. Yeah, me too.
Even though he's the second leading.
Even though Big Game Gardner is slinging it out there.
Yeah, exactly. I do think Steele's definitely more worth the pickup than Dameon Pierce. What about you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just given the circumstance right now, yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. Somebody asked, should I trade Stephon Diggs? I don't know. Maybe. What's the question there?
You got you can't just get a question like that and just be like, yes. I don't know. Depends. Maybe.
Depends.
Reed, Cooper, Devontae, Deontay for flex, pull PPR. So you're keeping one of these, I guess.
I'm going Jaden Reed, especially if Love's in there, but even if not, like just too electric of a talent. I think Cooper's due to rebound, but like, yeah, that's a scary one right there. I mean, he's done nothing through 2 games. So I'm gonna go Reed. I think Deontay's honestly in full PPR the next one, given Andy Dalton coming up. I miss you, Bulldog. Sorry about that.
You remember the thing this was years ago when I talked about that show Quantum Leap that used to be on, where the guy would time jump into someone's body and all of a sudden be in a situation he wasn't prepared for. And I talked a long time about how Andy Dalton in one game when he was playing for the Bengals just seemed like he was someone who had never played football before that teleported into his body live in the middle of the game. That's how bad he was.
Way back.
Yeah, it's always stuck with me because I was just like, this guy looks like he's never played football in his life. But I also, with that said, I'm also a little bit intrigued by Andy Dalton starting on the Panthers. He cannot possibly be worse than what's been going on.
No, can't be. 362 yards again his last start. All right. I think, Truth, it's probably time for the rapid fire, huh?
Let's do it.
All righty. So Akers, is he flex worthy? Honestly, could be. If both Pierce and Mixon are out, I think you're getting 15 to 20 touches in a revenge game narrative against the Vikings. And he's looked really good. Coming off an Achilles tear, but he looks really, really good. Jose asking, do I start Hunter Henry or flex? I don't know if that's a question. I would probably not flex 2 tight ends, though. That does not seem like an optimal strategy this year, but it depends on who your other option is. He says Parkinson or Henry for your flex. Get something other than a tight end. Stevenson or Pollard, definitely Stevenson for me. Weston, Love over Carr rest of season? Yeah, probably Bulldog, but man, Carr looks really, really good.
I'm not convinced of that.
I look at, but I'm convinced of the play call. I think Kubiak's the real deal. We got Hunter Henry or Parkinson. I'm going to definitely go Hunter over Parkinson, but again, I don't know that I'd flex either. Hopefully, you have something better you could toss out in there. Ferguson or Kincaid. I'm going to go Kincaid in that case, given the injuries right now. Shaheed or Diggs, who to start? I actually have Rashid Shaheed higher than Diggs this week. This guy is absolutely cooking, and I buy it. I believe in it for sure. So Casa Bonitas is saying he made his decision. He's starting Henry Kittle questionable. All right, not what we would say. I don't think Kittle's all that questionable, and I know when he plays without Debo, it's an eruption every single time. So I don't agree with it, but hey, you go for what you want to. And Michaela's starting Henry over Kelsey. Yes, again, I love it. Like you guys certainly
that's a very close call, and Henry's playing tonight, so it's not like I think that's a crazy call. Seriously,
yeah, not at all. So we got NC local ringing. It can't get any worse for Carolina. If the past 5-ish years watching this team have taught us anything, it can always get worse. It's heavy. I guess they've been saying that for a while. Some people bringing up too without Pacheco, maybe this team becomes more high pass rate over expectation. They already are up there, but yeah. I have Powers and Henry. Who do I start? Oh, it's Bowers. It's Bowers 10,000 times over. And I don't think you can start one in the flex over Travis Etienne. No. I don't know what this 2 tight end is so bad this year. Like you should not be starting 2 tight ends in lineups. I don't think. I just picked up Kelsey. Someone in my league dropped him. Yeah, that's crazy that Kelsey's getting dropped in leagues. Hunter Henry. Yeah, Henry or Likely. We've gotten that one a few times, and it is Henry for us, more stable despite the bigger play upside going to Likely. I do think Henry is better. Laporta or Henry? I'm going Laporta myself. How do we feel about Stevenson? We talked about him earlier, Tunes. We love Stevenson tonight. We love him this year until he gets good proves otherwise. He is just absolutely featured. Tried shooting for Barkley, for Dobbins and Bowers, but got shut down. Connor was Charb and Waddle. No. Don't like that deal. Henry versus Pitts. We keep getting that one, and I keep saying Pitts, but again, Henry's safer. But I just that the Chiefs have given up so much points to the tight end position, so I got to roll with that one. P. Ryan or Hunter Henry? Okay, I guess if that's your flex decision. Maybe I would just roll Hunter Henry, but I don't know.
Absolutely.
You
just don't know. You don't know.
I just traded Singletary for Tank Dell, full PPR. Did I win that trade? It depends again on your team needs, but yeah, I think buying low on Tank Dell is a fine play. I'd be a little worried, but again, if something happens to one receiver there,
he's so low. You're buying so low.
You're buying so low right now, and I think it's a smart move because all it takes is Stephon Diggs to combust or have an injury, or Nico Collins, God forbid, and Tank Dell's right back into top 10 every single week.
And they might try to integrate him into the office anyway. I mean, he's a great receiver. They know it. They might just be looking to him even with these 2 guys healthy.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm going Anthony Richardson definitely over Baker. You got to always play him. Looks like McCallan joined. Awesome. Would love to have you keep coming back, helping out everybody in the stream. Awesome to see you guys. Any other subs? We'd love to keep building the numbers up. We crossed over 4K tonight. Such a great feeling to be finally over that threshold, and we'd love you guys to keep joining for sure. Sports Guru. Henry today over Kittle. No, I think that's probably the same person now asking from Twitter. I'm going Kittle 10 out of 10 times. I don't think he's that questionable, and without Debo, you got to go with him. Just join the stream. Do you think Stevens? Yeah, Stevenson's going to feast. He's like the running back 3 in fantasy right now. Most missed tackles forced in the league. Playing the big thing with Stevenson that we talked about at the beginning, not to like pause a rapid fire, but 63% of the routes, 73% of the stats. The route share, though, is what's more surprising. He makes it seem like he's not game flow dependent. Doing really, really solid stuff there. I definitely go Jets over Raiders. I think Raiders facing Dalton. I think Dalton's better than people are going to give him credit for. So I think they're a little bit of fool's gold there. Jordan Mason, Rhamondre, Brees Hall, Montgomery, bench 1. Ooh, great running back segs. Well,
probably benching Monty, and I hate it.
I'm benching Monty pretty easily, and I love Monty there, Hags. Great running backs there for sure. Flex Diggs or Jennings. I'm going Diggs still. It's Juwan Jennings, and yeah, I get the narrative. It's potentially there. I am going to put I don't want to put someone in timeout because I feel like he's been blocking people lately. But don't keep repeating your question, IQ's Ghetto Garage. That's really, really annoying. Jameson over Drake London? Yes, I've been doing that since week 1. I had Drake London week 1 over Jameson, but week 2, I put JMO in over London myself, and I don't think I'll ever go back. I'm going to go Bears over Ravens given that Cowboys matchup. I'm going to go Vikings over Saints. They have absolutely been cooking right now. I got Kamara and Rice. Should I trade away for Jamar Chase and Barkley? I would probably take Chase and Barkley on that deal.
Wow.
It's studs for studs.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
probably.
Trading
Kamara this high is, you can get value treating Kamara at the high place he is right now, and you can flip him into somebody like that. You might want to do it.
I think that's a good way to do it. I will say I don't think it's worth just selling high on Kamara. I think this is for real. I think the Kubiak
but this was a real deal. Like these were 2 studs he was going to get.
This is 2 studs. Yeah, and Rice is a stud too. But I think Chase is about to break out big. Barkley's top 3 in my rest of season big board. So yeah, I'm there for sure. Guys, should I start Kelsey or Henry? We went with Kelsey ourselves, but
some of our listeners disagreed though.
Yeah, exactly. Bullseye. I just want to say I appreciate you guys for answering all this question. Hell yeah, that's what we're here for. We love to help you guys out. We'll be back again 8 a.m. Sunday morning to keep answering your guys' questions. And congrats on 4K. Thank you, Bulldog. Pumped to get there. Thank you guys so much. Love the stream interaction. I'm out. Hey, glad to have you. Good. Thanks for being in touch with that shirt. Yeah, hit up at Rose Street Wolf. I'll be on the lookout in my DMs. Cass, I don't know if you were actually 4K, but we will check and see.
But he was at least very close.
Very close, and maybe we'll give it to him. Anyways,
I think we should give it. I think if he follows up, we should give it to him.
We should. Jennings, Moss, B. Cooks, Mooney, or Johnson. I don't know who Trey Johnson is, honestly. I think she might have made Tyler Johnson. I'm going to go Zach Moss there. Again, 80% of the workload there for the Bengals. I'm there. Neighbors or Dell? Definitely Neighbors 110 times. Yeah.
It pains me to say it, but definitely.
64% target share last week. 64. Unbelievable. Waddle, Dortch, or Pirine. I know talent is Waddle. Yeah, I think you got to lean Waddle there. I love the Dortch matchup in the slot. We've seen the Lions just get destroyed by Chris Godwin and Cooper Kupp in back-to-back weeks of the slot, and Dortch is their slot guy. It makes sense, but I don't know. It's still Jalen Waddle. You got.
I'm starting Waddle, but be prepared to be disappointed. But I'm starting Waddle.
Yes, be prepared for disappointment. But yes, I'd agree. Dak or Jared Goff? Ooh, that's a pretty good one. I think I'm going to go Jared Goff. I love that game against Arizona. I think that game just shoots out big time. Love the stream. Big help. Hopefully we get it right for you, McCallan. Love to have you. Love that you were helping everybody else out there as well. Great interactions. Glad you subbed. Hope to see you at multiple streams, including 8 a.m. on Sunday. That's when we will be live next. Tunes wishing everybody good luck. Thank you for real from Jose. For real. Love that you're here, Jose.
For real.
Thank you for interacting. And then we had pick one, Moss, Ford, or Carson Steele. I'm going to go Moss there. Again, not doing a ton of damage with his work, but absolutely the guy right now in that backfield. We don't know if it's going to be Steele or Pirine. Ford's given up a lot of carries right now to Donta Foreman. So, yeah, I'm going to go Moss over Ford. What about you?
Yeah, I think so.
We've gotten this one a bunch. Raiders or Jets, and I'm going to go Jets. Maybe I'm wrong on the Raiders D, but I just think, again, Andy Dalton might surprise more than people think. Start 2 and flex 1. Waddle, Higgins, or Ridley, or JSN. So we got to bench one of these guys.
If
And
Higgins
I think
is playing, I'm playing Higgins, but that's a
yes,
big if.
yes, exactly.
You know,
It's a
JSN.
Monday night game too, so we need to really get positive signs that Higgins is going to play. But if he is, against the Commanders, I can't bench him. I think Waddle's the easy bench if everybody's playing. Deshaun Watson or Joe Burrow. I got to go Burrow.
To be clear, they clarify at the bottom just this week. They're not talking full like rest of the season.
Yeah, I go Burrow.
Me too.
Even just this week, I still go Burrow.
Me too.
Yeah, I think he looked like Burrow again, and he gets Washington. Like, you can't ask for a better matchup than Washington. So rest of the season and this week, it's and I get the Giants isn't a bad matchup either. But yeah, I'm going Joe Burrow. One last one I remember: JD or Mahomes. Mahomes has been a letdown so far. Again, not even in the top 10 in passing yards on a list that includes Sam Darnold, that includes Gardner Minshew. You know, it's crazy that he's not. I'm still going to go Mahomes, though. Like, he's just due for the eruption. Like, it's going to happen.
Agree.
And now without Pacheco, maybe they lean on him even more. AR, Neighbors, Thomas. You got a squad there. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, pretty solid. You're cooking. I think it's a good squad for sure. What's your record? You tell me. Are you cooking? Are you 2-0?
Yeah. Are you cooking?
Yeah, it seems like a good roster. I like the roster top to bottom. Are you cooking yourself, though? How's it playing out? Deontay, Henry, or Worthy? You got to bench one? I think I'm benching Henry here. I want to see what Deontay does with Dalton. I'd like Worthy, too, to blow up. I don't love starting another tight end when I don't have to. What about you?
I agree with you. My instinct at first was Deontay, but I would probably throw him out there to see how it goes. I mean, it's possible he pulls down a touchdown or two.
Yeah. This is a tough one from Higgs. Mason for Olave. I think I'd do it just because there's definitely a world where McCaffrey's back and Mason is truly just a backup. I don't know that exists, though. I think like Mason's going to keep getting worked in, and what if it keeps flaring up and you just have the number one running back for San Fran? If that is the case, then yes, Mason's way more valuable than Olave. But I do think I ultimately pull this trigger. I think
I would not. I want it on there. I would not make this deal.
Yeah. All righty. We left Alec right here. Flex 1, White, Pirine, Jaden Reed, or Naylor. If Jordan Love's in, it's easy Jaden Reed. I would go Zamir White if it's – I like White to bounce back against Carolina this week, though. So I would go Reed most cases, but I think I'd go White if it's Malik Willis' show again this week. Is J.K. Dobbins going to have a good weekend? Again, we talked about being a little worried here about the Steelers matchup, but he looks so damn good that maybe. Should I pay Garrett Wilson over Calvin Ridley? Yeah, I think you got to keep going Garrett Wilson. In that case, last two of the rapid fire here. Start 2 of the 5 receivers. JSN, Pickens, Tank Dell, Pittman, Brian Thomas. I'm going to go Pickens and JSN. I'm going to go the first 2, but Brian Thomas Jr. is knocking on the door there. If you wanted to go him over Pickens, I'd be okay with that. That's a good one for sure. Trade Kamara for Chase. Oh, it depends on your team makeup. If you got good running back depth, Sebastian, yeah, I think you can absolutely do that for sure. And who do I put at my flex if Mixon doesn't play? I think we've said we would go. So Moss is running back 2. So if Mixon doesn't play, you got to choose one of these guys. I guess I go Mooney and hope for a bomb. I guess Jennings, though. I might go him there. Should I trade Kyron London and Shaheed for Devonta Smith and JT? Yes, I would definitely do that. Kavi and Gibbs, JT as my running backs. Nice. So you got good depth there. I think you can pull that trigger and go for Chase. Yes. All righty, Wolfpack. On your way out, one last plea for any new subs. A lot of new names tonight. A lot of new people subscribing tonight. Love to see it. I'll be live again at 8 a.m. on Sunday morning, answering all your questions live when we go that time. Ultimately, best of luck tonight. All of our content, all my rankings are at rotostreetjournal.com. We breed and feed you fancy wolves. Tons of great content coming out. Always updating the rankings, the news, everything. So please do check out rotostreetjournal.com. You can find me at rotostreetwolf. Would love to have you again Sunday morning, 8 a.m. We'll have you at our stream. It would be so nice. In a world full of fancy sheep guys, be the wolf. Later.
Later.
Have fun, everybody. Good luck.